Welcome to another episode of On This Day on the Grueling Truth Sports Network. I'm your host for On This Day, Mike Goodpaster, and today we're going to talk a little boxing. February the 5th, 1943, Sugar Ray Robinson versus Jake LaMotta 2, otherwise known as the one that LaMotta won. Now, a rivalry is not a rivalry after just one fight. Ray Robinson and Jake LaMotta had faced each other for the very first time 4 months prior at Madison Square Garden in New York. And while both were world-rated and regarded as exceptional talents, it was the welterweight Sugar Ray Robinson who had impressed in their 1942 meeting. LaMotta won at best 2 rounds, and Sugar Ray used his speed and boxing skills to take a one-sided win with relative ease. Both fighters preferred to stay busy, and this was a time when boxers would fight sometimes every 2 weeks, every month. Most guys were fighting at least 4 or 5 times a year. It's not like it is today where everybody just hangs out, screws around, ducks the guys that are best fighters, and then fights somebody they can easily handle in one fight and takes on somebody that might be a little tougher in the next. Both of these fighters preferred to stay busy also because, you had to get paid. It's not like these guys were making millions of dollars. And since their first match had done brisk business at the box office, why not do it again? And while Sugar Ray and the Bronx Bowl were still years away from winning world titles and having documentaries and movies about them, Robinson was already a high-profile contender. He commanded big purses and big crowds for the time, and has the story that he had not lost a match in some 125 consecutive battles, amateur and pro. This time, LaMotta and Robinson locked up in Detroit, Robinson's hometown. A huge crowd sold out the old Olympia Stadium to see a second matchup between the incredibly tough middleweight and the gifted welterweight with the lightning-quick hands. Both men were in top shape. Robinson came in at a light 144 and gave up some 16 pounds to LaMotta on fight night. Now, whether that weight advantage ultimately decided the outcome is anyone's guess. But the bottom line is that unlike their first meeting, Jake dominated Ray during the latter rounds of the return fight. After 7, it appeared Robinson had a commanding points lead and was on his way to another decision win. But then a desperate LaMotta, the Bronx Bull, dramatically came to life and began to railroad his man, applying relentless pressure and doing damage on the inside. No doubt those extra pounds came in handy for Jake as he bowled his way past Robinson's reach and landed heavy shots upstairs and downstairs. Starting in the 8th, it was all LaMotta, and at the end of the round, a right to the body followed by a vicious left hook to the head sent Sugar Ray through the ropes. He never did beat the count. The bell rang to save Robinson from what looked like, to some, like an almost certain knockout loss. Now, Robinson survived the last 2 rounds, but Jake remained in charge, battering his man and sealing what was truly a historic victory. It would be another 8 years before the great Sugar Ray Robinson lost another boxing match. Bad news for Jake, who met Ray for a 3rd time less than a month later, again at the Olympia. LaMotta managed to score another knockdown, putting Ray down for an 8 count in round 7. But otherwise, Robinson was sharp, and he kept LaMotta on the end of his punches, nailing his man with stiff uppercuts on the inside, basically controlled the battle, and thus one of the greatest rivalries in boxing history had begun in earnest. 3 more hard-fought battles awaited, 2 of them extremely close, until their feud climaxed with the brutal struggle that was known as the St. Valentine's Day Massacre, where Robinson didn't go down, but he sure got his ass whooped by the great Sugar Ray Robinson. So on this day, February the 5th, 1943, the Bronx Bull had Sugar Ray Robinson his first professional loss. So, on this day as always, you can hear every day on the Grueling Truth Sports Network. Make sure you check us out. Make sure you give us a like wherever you find us. Check out our Facebook page. You can hear us wherever podcasts are played, and you can follow us at Grueling Truth. But for now, this has been Mike Goodpaster, and you've been listening to The Grueling Truth, where the legends speak.